way down in the water, way down in a hole, coming back from the fire and I'll burn it down, burn it down.
So how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. All right. So I wanted to first and foremost thank you guys for coming, and I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak today. So what we're going to talk about today. This is very small for me. What we're going to talk about today is never quitting. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story. The mortgage stuff's really boring, so when you get an introduction about the mortgage stuff, I'm like, that's not really impactful. So I'll tell you a little bit about who I am and where I started and where I am now and the challenges I face day in and day out as a business owner. So I actually run 3 businesses. I run a production company, I run a mortgage company, and then I run a consulting and public speaking company. So when I was in high school, I didn't have really the opportunity to go to college. I grew up in a small town, Florida native, Arcadia. Some of you may or may not have heard of it. It's Sarasota, Bradenton area, going about 40 miles. So growing up in that town, my father, you really had 2 options. You were going to work in the correctional facility or you were going to work house. That's really kind of all you really had, build fence, manual labor. So when I was growing up, my father was 36 years in corrections, worked all day, every day. We grew up in a single wide trailer in the middle of nowhere. I had a blind brother who was mentally handicapped. I had a younger sister. My father worked so many hours to the point where I basically raised them for the most part. Being a single dad, living out in the middle of nowhere, not really having a whole lot of options, it was difficult to grow up during that time. And my dad probably made about, I don't know, $20,000, $25,000 a year, so it wasn't a lot of money to raise 3 kids, much less a mentally handicapped brother. He depended a lot on me as the oldest to support the family, to play a part in that. So I got a lot of responsibility at a young age, which at the time I hated. But now looking back, I'm very grateful for it. So growing up in that environment, I have all kinds of crazy stories. So hopefully this year I released my first book, and it talks a little bit about the stories and experiences I went through growing up in the middle of nowhere and how that can translate into life and help you exceed goals and do things that you want. So point being is that college wasn't an option for me. So to me, when you grow up in a small town, a lot of us, we go, man, we want to join the military. And at that time, you don't really think to yourself, I want to serve my country or I want to do something great. I just want to get out of here. So Marine Corps was the toughest. They got the best looking uniforms. Girls love it. I'm all for it. So I said, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. I'm going to go in as JAG, right? Because I thought I was going to be a lawyer. So the Marine Corps is pretty interesting. Like you go in with this like big vision of what you think you're going to do, and then when you get there, it completely changes. So when I went in, I left, I graduated high school, 3 days later, I was gone, and I could not be happier. Let me tell you something, my father worked me so hard that the Marine Corps, I wrote letters home like, I love this place. This is great. Like, keep me here forever. I don't want to go back home with my dad, because it'd be 4 o'clock in the morning, he was up, and we would work all day. And I remember one thing he used to always say to me, we're burning daylight, son, we're burning daylight. And I'm like, it's still dark outside. You know, and well, we got to get out there. You know how Florida is. It's 150 degrees by the time it's 7 o'clock in the morning with the humidity. So when you're out building a fence, manual labor out in the swamp, you know, it's hot. And if you work up till about noon, you'll probably pass out. So my dad always get up early in the morning and get your day started. Didn't realize later on in life that would play a big role in things that I did. And obviously in the military, it was perfect for me. So graduated, 3 days later, I'm out, right? I'm on the bus. I was on my own going through boot camp. When I went through boot camp, I didn't really have an objective, which I'll talk about a little bit later. All I wanted is I just wanted to get out. I wanted to experience life. I wanted to do more. So you got to understand, when you grow up in a small town, for those of you that have, there's not a lot of options. And if you're the oldest, you have a lot of responsibilities. And taking care of a handicapped blind brother was a very difficult one, in addition to taking care of my young sister. So to me, going to the military was the first time I ever got to focus on myself. So my mother left us when I was 9. Didn't have a mom the entire time. So I was always around my dad, and my dad, working corrections, would always work 4 to 12 shifts. So 4 o'clock in the afternoon till midnight. So we grew up on a bombing range the first part of our years until we moved over to the country. So the Avon Park bombing range. So I spent a lot of time by myself, taking care of my sister and my brothers. Had a younger brother later on in life. I didn't have to take care of him, thank goodness. So, when I got to the Marine Corps, I knew that I wanted to get away, but when I got in, I knew I wanted to be the best. And I said, well, I already joined the Marine Corps, so I went, right, Army? That's a little stab, we do that in the military, stab. So, when I joined the Marine Corps, I knew I wanted to be the best at what I did. So I went into the Marine Corps, and I excelled at everything. I graduated top of my class. I was meritoriously promoted 3 times before I made it to the fleet. And what we call the fleets, like you go through boot camp, you go through School of Infantry or your class, and then you go out to your actual unit. Now, I don't necessarily think it was because anything I did great. It was because I was selected by my peers. And what I learned is that that leadership that I got when I was taking care of my brother, and my sister, and the way my father was, played a huge role in the military. Because, see, a leader accepts responsibility when it's bad, and then passes credit on when it's good. Right? Hopefully you learn that in sports and you learn that in life, that the most important thing is that as a leader, heavy weighs the crowd. So when I got to the military, you got to remember, this was an out for me. So I was excited. So it was my time to shine by myself. When I got in, I thought to myself, man, I'm going to go to JAG. And then, of course, the drill instructors, they changed their mind. He's like, you know, you'd be really good at infantry. I was like, yeah, you're right, I would be good at infantry. So I ended up joining infantry, which I should have been JAG, but he sold me, so I'll take it. So I went to School of Infantry. My first duty station was 29 Palms. So if you know anything about the military, that's like the worst duty station in the world is to go to 29 Palms. There's nothing there. There's a reason why they call it 29 Palms. Like, that's all that's there. It's the desert. That's it. The first time I saw snow as a country boy in Florida was in the desert at nighttime. I was so confused because the day before, my camis were sweat stained because it was like 130 degrees outside. And we were riding amphibious assault vehicles, basically like a tin can. See, the Marine Corps gets hand-me-down. We don't get all the cool stuff the Army gets. We get the hand-me-down stuff. So the diesel fumes are blasting inside, everything's broken, there's like duct tape all over the place. Like the first plane ride, there's like duct tape on the wing. I'm like, this is not going to turn out well. Right? But in the Marine Corps, you can't complain. You got to suck it up. You know, I'm a Marine. That's right. You know, and then at the same time, you're like, man, I'm scared to death. You know, but you don't tell anybody that. You know, and I still do that. So we're riding around in the AAVs all day long. We get out, wake up next morning, and it feels like, you know, it's rain. I'm like, how did this rain in the desert? Something's wrong. Oh, well, it was even worse. I got up, there's snow. I remember getting up, looking at my buddy, going, where are we? We've got to be in hell itself. Because it was just 130 degrees, I got sweat stains, and now it's snowing outside. Not realizing that you got to remember, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. You understand what I'm saying? Like, in order to really succeed at something, every single day, you better be uncomfortable. That's like your life. See, if it's easy, you get weak. Really, really weak. So as I go through this story, that was one of the things that started to help me more and more, is realizing this is making me stronger. Right? Next day we get up, 130 degrees. 80-pound pack on our back, hiking, moving, going, doing it again, run, scream, go, and it doesn't stop. And see, I wanted to better myself. I wanted to go to college like you guys. Because once I understood the concept of this is what happens to people that don't go to college, y'all are all out partying and having a good time. I'm out here hugging, you know, with an 80-pound pack on my back. This is stupid. Now imagine what you do as far as your school is concerned now. But imagine being out in the field all day, every day, just getting crushed, playing games. It's hot, you're sick. You come in, and then you have to go to the armory where you take your rifle and you go in and they clean it. And it's not easy like you clean it and they just put it in. They just mess with you. Oh no, not clean, go back, do it again. It's the worst part of the armory. Anybody you ask in the infantry, that's the worst part. Because you just want to get your rifle done and go. But then the guy, he's all mad, so it makes you go back, and you have to clean it again, go back again. You're ready to choke that fool. So, once that happened, and I realized I wanted to better myself, I started going to school. So English comp was the first thing. Man, let me tell you something. Country boy from Arcadia in the Marine Corps trying to do some English composition, that did not work at all. I was like, this is stupid. I'm just going to go out and pull the trigger some more or something. That's way easier. I just didn't understand, but I did it. Because the main topic today is to never quit. So I never quit anything in my life. I don't think I've ever quit anything. Good, bad, different, whether I liked it or I didn't like it, I always continued to finish. Right? The mission objective is the most important. You must complete the mission. So I continue to do that. So I go through my military career. Most people that stay in for a long time, they call them motivators or lifers. Or I didn't let the recruiters tell me the second time. The first time I understood the value of something. Right? See, one of the things I do in life that some people like or don't like about my style in business is that I'm a soul stealer. So I go to you and I take everything I possibly can. I sponge everything. Your knowledge, your experience, every single thing from you. And then I dispose of that, step on the body, and go to the next one. Right? That's the Marine Corps talk. Because I understand that I've got to continue forward. So the Marine Corps gave me the best 4 years. But I realized I was done with that career. I realized I had to go further. So, how many military people in here? Any veterans? Good. 2? What branch were you? Navy. Oh, what's up, Doc? See, if you're a doc, that's the only way you'll pass in any other branch. So, when I finished up my term, this was during 9/11. All right, so I was 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines in 29 Palms, and then I went to 1st Reconnaissance Battalion. So I was with 1st Recon as a roper in Camp Margarita. 9/11 happens. We get what's called a blue dart message. They call us, come back to the base and say, hey, this is what's happening. Of course, we all watch it on TV, playing, boom, everything blows up. They call us back and say, all right, we're getting ready to go. So now for those of you military, you can appreciate this, I'm like 90 days EAS, getting ready to get out, right? So I'm like, I'm out. In my head, I'm out. Like, we're done, I'm finished, I'm done with this stuff, done with the games, I'm out. Well, when that happens, you go, man, I'm not going anywhere. And there was a gunnery sergeant at the dive locker saying, hey, Johnson, you should re-enlist. That's when they try to get you. You should re-enlist. Fight for your country. You know, I said, Gunny, now let me pause. Let me take you a step back about 8 months prior to. I was going through RIP, Recon Introduction Platoon. Okay? 1st Reconnaissance Battalion was underfunded. So if anybody knows anything about Recon, it's the Navy SEALs of the Marine Corps. As much as I hate saying that. That's basically the only way most people can understand it, because a Navy SEAL writes a book like every week, and everybody's like, Navy SEALs? Recon was first, all right? The original frogmen. So I joined that, 29 Palms. I get there, I'm in the middle of RIP, and at the time it was really underfunded, so we were part of what's called Headquarters Battalion, H&S. So we were going through kind of an OJT program versus going to our schools that we would normally go to. I finally got some time off, so we call it Liberty. So finally, right? And I didn't have a vehicle the whole time, so I finally got a motorcycle, right? Because when you join the military, this is like a military starter kit. You get like a Camaro, a Mustang, or like a motorcycle. You know, that's like, and then you're all cool and you don't wear a shirt. That's how it works. Just so you know, right? That's true. That's what you like. So I get ready to get out. They give me 3 days of liberty, right? And we just finished pre-scuba. We're getting crushed. Like Friday Fun Day was a 10-mile run, 1,500-meter fin, and then 10 miles back. That's like fun day for us. We're like, oh, that's great. We don't have to run a formation. So when I finished up, they said, you can have some liberty. I was gone, because see, they love to haze the new guys. Because when you get ready to go up, they make you wear all this gear. So you got all this gear on. Well, when you leave the base, you know, you get your pimp stuff on. You know, you get your little muscle shirt on, looking all swole up. You know, when the girl's checking you out, riding on your bike. That's how you are when you're an 18-year-old Marine. So I change into my gear, and I come down off the base, getting ready to go onto the 8, head up to my buddies. He lives in Corona, California. As I'm going down the hill, I'm riding my bike like this. There's a car next to me kind of following me. As I get ready to go through the light, and there's a turning lane to go left, they turn right, and I T-bone them. I caught the corner of a brick house at 45 miles an hour right here. All right? I did not pass out. I had a really good helmet. I spent some money on that. When I hit the ground, they robbed me. They were gang members. They had been prepping the whole time. When I hit that house, it broke my entire chest plate in half. Every single rib I had was shattered in multiple pieces. And then all those ribs started puncturing all my major organs. My kidney, my spleen,
My lungs had 350-cent-size hole tears in them. Sliced my bicep open, broke my collarbone, my hand, my shoulder blade. Set aside the fact that I hit a brick wall with my head. And I can remember them pulling the stuff off of me. And my body was just limp. Well, because of the type of gang members they were, nobody in the area would talk or help. So, the only option I had was to get up. So your body, I believe, holds 6 pints. I lost 4. Put my hand over my bicep that was just spewing out blood like in the movies. And I walked 2 blocks to a fire station. Now, think about this for a second. My entire chest plate is broken. So I can remember to this day, walking, watching my skin like Stretch Armstrong just expand as the fluid starts to build up in my body. See, I had a floating shoulder because my collarbone and my shoulder blade were broken. So I couldn't even move it, right? And every time I would walk, those ribs, I could feel them cutting my major organs. Now, let me tell you something. When you are in the desert and you're stationed in the desert, there's one thing that the military pushes. Drink water, 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 drink water. I mean, to this day, that's all I ever drink is water. I can't drink anything else other than water. But when you're dying, there is one thing in this world you care about. Water. That's it. Okay? Water. Just like the movies. I want some water. That's exactly what it's like. You just want water. Like to this day, if I drink some ice cold water, I'm like, Lord Jesus, thank you so much. I love this cold water. It's amazing. As I'm walking, blood is just pouring out all over the place. I get to the fire station and I happen to get down on one knee, right? I can't believe I made it 2 blocks, but I get there. There happened to be a doctor on site, right? So the doctor comes out, they bring in bay flight. You know, helicopter comes down and gets me. Now you guys got to remember, my personality is a little different now than when I was a kid. I didn't say a single cuss word. I still don't drink. I never drank in the military, which is weird for a Marine anyways. I always wanted to excel. So that kind of stuff holds you back. So I wanted to move forward. I was always in the gym all day, every day. That's all I ever did. PT, 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 PT. That's it. You know, so they say in 29 Palms, there's 3 things you're going to do. You're going to drink, become religious, or you're going to get swole. And that's what I was doing, was getting swole. I was in the gym all the time. So as I get to the fire station, the doctor comes in, the helicopter comes down, they put me on. Well, you got to remember, so your body's filling up with fluid. So the only way to get that out is to take a scalpel and slice you on the side, run a tube in, and allow all that fluid to come out. Right? And then they put you on to help you breathe. Well, that's not an easy process. They can't give you anything for it because they don't know if you're allergic to something or not. So we're in the helicopter and we're going up, and all I remember is I closed my eyes. And as I'm up in the helicopter, the doctor said, "Bud, we got to cut you. We got to run a tube in to get it." I said, "Yes, sir." My father always, "Yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am." I do it to this day. I don't care if you're 12 years old or 80 years old. I still do it. It's just a respect thing. I said, "Yes, sir, that's fine." He said, "You know, you're pretty calm for somebody that's dying." And I said, "Well, if I overreact, I'm probably going to hurt myself even more, and these ribs are killing me right now." You know, everybody laughing on the helicopter. He pulls out a scalpel and slices me. Now, I got 3 of those, still scars to this day. So imagine all those ribs are shattered. He's just ramming that hose through those ribs, and I can feel in my body everything, right? And then all of a sudden, I start cussing because I'm hurts. And there was a lady on there, and I said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, I'm cussing." She was like, "Sweetie, you can do whatever you want to do. Like, you say whatever you need to, you know. You know, you can curse God himself if you want. I don't care, you know." And I kept apologizing to her, and I remember they busted that tube through, and I looked over and I watched all that fluid just spray out all over the helicopter floor. Well, when they did that, my lungs went, and I couldn't breathe. It was already bad enough, so they put the little mask on my face. And I was getting so frustrated with whoever was doing it, because every time I would take a breath in, they would pushed it, so it was going opposite. I remember getting so mad at that guy, you know, like, or whoever it was. I was just like, "Come on, man, figure it out. I can't breathe. You know, come on, help a brother out here." So when they did that, I flatlined. I was out. Done. Forget about it. So it's just like the movies, right? They're like, "Clear." They bring on the pow, pow, bring me back. Boom, I'm awake. I'm like, "Ooh, all right, let's do this again. Come on." So we finally get down and land in the helicopter, and we get in there, and then boom, I'm out again. Second time I flatline. So they come out there, boom, bring me back again. I'm like, all right, I think maybe I might have one more in me. So they take me in, and they start asking me for phone numbers, you know, for my dad and stuff, and I had to do it on my fingers because they were starting to run tubes down my mouth. So they run the tubes down my mouth, I get all in, situated, whatever, you know, boom, I'm out again. Third time I flatline. So they come back, pow, bring me back again. So I spent 3 months in CCU, 2 months in ICU, and then I finally made it off of the civilian hospital back to the military hospital. About 6 months I was fully rehabbed. I'll get to that in a second. So the question I get all the time is, did you see God? Right? Yeah, we're boys. He just came on down and we hung out, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, don't worry about anything. It's like, great. You know, want to hook me up here? Help me out? You know, I know you got some powers. So, no, I did not see what people would perceive as God, right? Because that's a loosely used term. So, but let me tell you what I did. So my father shows up, and believe it or not, your adrenaline kicks in a lot, so the pain other than that tube, I really didn't feel a whole lot. I mean, I'm downplaying that. I felt a ton. But the worst part of the pain is when your body starts to heal somewhat. Like, you get punched in the face. Not for all of those, I guess you've been punched in the face. You get hurt or something happens, you feel it more later on than you do, you know, like working out. It's probably a better way to say it. You work out, go in, a couple days later you feel sore, right? So that's kind of how your body is after you've hit that much from a shock standpoint. So as I'm sitting there, well, laying there, I'm sitting anyway, they're putting tubes in my mouth to get all the blood, because the blood's just pouring out all over the place. And that was the worst part, because I was so helpless, because I'm not that type of person, right? They had my hands tied down, and the lady was cleaning up all the blood off me, and I kept saying, ma'am, I'll help you, you know, let me help you. And she said, sweetie, just relax, that's why we got you tied down. You don't need to clean yourself up, we'll hook you up, you know? I just felt so helpless. So my dad was there. Finally, this was, you know, fast forward a little bit. My dad shows up, flies from Florida to California, gets there. And I can't explain to you the pain. Like, I don't think I could really put it in words. The amount of pain I felt. Right? So I'm sitting there, laying there. My dad comes in, and I see my dad. And he just falls apart, right? Because I imagine your kid laying there and there's nothing you can do. And if any of you have children, or when you do have children, see, I have a 2-year-old little girl. I'll murder every one of y'all for that little girl. And she's the most beautiful kid in the entire world. I'm just telling you, right now, that's all it is. It is what it is. But when you have something that's important to you like that, I mean, it's the most amazing thing in the world. I don't even want another one because she's so perfect. I feel like I'd mess it up, you know? So my dad's sitting there looking at me going, man, he's helpless. There's nothing he can do. So I'm laying there, and there's this blood coming out, the pain so bad. And I look at my dad, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. This is too bad. And I watched my dad cry. I mean, man, he just broke down, you know. And then I was out. It's like your body separates from your physical form to this form. You're looking down on yourself, being like, dang, I look broke. And I had a choice. I could quit, and everything would be all right. I swear to you, this is exactly what it was. I could quit, and everything would be okay. It'd be cool. You just relax. Or you could fight, and it will suck a lot. It will hurt, but you'll get to live. I was like, I don't know, this feels pretty good just chilling right now. The other part of me was like, wow, there's so many things I want to do. I just don't want to be the last part of my life being in the Marine Corps. There's more stuff I want to do in my life. I grew up in a small town, man, that's just cows. That's it. I want to see the world, I want to do more. So I chose to stay and fight. I didn't quit. When that happened, I don't want to say necessarily that it really changed me. I mean, I guess it did, but because I was always hard-headed. But it made me understand and appreciate how much I have. I mean, it really did. I mean, it's not cliche. It's the truth. I said, man, wow. Like, I hit a brick house. What's up? Didn't stop me. I flatlined 3 times. Didn't stop me. Right? Marine Corps didn't stop me. I just kept on going. Felt like the Terminator. What? I don't look like Terminator? So, I go through that experience and I get rehabbed. Now, mind you, military is different. So it's not like they're like, oh, well, come on in and we'll take care of you. They're like, oh, take some Motrin, drink some water, boom, get back out there. I'm like, man, I just hit a house. I'm like, that's great, cool, tell the story, let's go. So I get back to my unit and I start training every day, you know. I'm in the pool, doing pool work, I'm back in the gym again. And I mean, I had to wear a brace for the longest time. I couldn't even pick myself up off the ground. So I rehabbed. So then we fast forward back, right? We go back to when 9/11 happened. So that was the reason why the decision. So I'd already faced death a couple different times. I beat it. So when they said, hey, you want to re-enlist? I was like, oh, no, that's okay. I just go ahead and sign the little paper and I'm going to get out of here right now. So I sign my paper. I leave the Marine Corps. And I do what every other veteran does. Now what? Right? And I start making them excuses. You know, I'm a veteran, I don't know what to do, I'm lost, I'm confused. Because I'm not like the normal veteran. I think differently. Some people don't like that. So I said, all right, world, here I go. I'm going to go apply to St. Pete Community College. I'm going to take over the world. Yeah, I get there, the teacher shows up 30 minutes late the first day. I'm like, nah, this ain't working. This ain't happening. It's community college, you know, it is what it is. So I got into sales, started selling gym memberships, you know, total cliche, meathead thing. Started learning, understanding sales people, kind of really developing those skills. And then I had an option because my girlfriend was like, hey, you need to get a real job. I was like, man, I'm a Marine. She's like, yeah, that's cool. You're going to need to pay some rent. So unless you can pay rent with that Marine thing, I said, you got to get a real job. So I was like, that's a good point. I'll jump on that. So, you know, girls are pretty powerful. So I was like, all right, let me do that. So when I started, they had like fax machines. So I just like faxed all my resumes to like all kinds of people. You know, I was just trying to get a job. So I had an option to work for Boston Market or the mortgage industry. I'll be completely honest with you, I didn't know the difference between the two. I just knew that I wore a little tie, got a little management position, and was making more money than my dad was when I started the position. So I was like, this is a plus for me. I mean, that's the ignorance that I had, you know what I mean? I didn't understand the concept of that. I just knew, work hard, get a job, take over the world, right? That was like my thought process. Let me tell you something, that's stupid. I'm gonna help you with that real fast. So I didn't go to college. I attempted it a couple different times, it just wasn't for me. Doesn't necessarily mean it was bad. It's just that I didn't want to listen to the teacher. I know it all. I got into business. I ended up picking the mortgage industry. Now, let me tell you why I picked the mortgage industry. So I walk into an office, right? There's all these guys wearing these little suits like I got on right now, trying to look like all pimp. I get in there. They're all on the phones, dialing, smiling, all ready to go. Manager calls me in there and says, hey, sit down here and say, you want to be mortgage loans? And I was like, man, I don't know what I want to do, but I just want to make some money for my girlfriend in case we have my apartment. He says, all right. He says, he brought his top guy and brought his pay stub in. It was $60-something thousand. I was like, wow. Am I killing somebody? Am I selling drugs? Am I a pharmaceutical sales rep? Like, what's going on here? You know, like something's wrong. I mean, I'll do it for $60-something thousand. I just want to know what it is. You know? So I said, man, this doesn't make any sense. And he said, look, all you got to do is get on the phones, overcome objections, and this is kind of like, man. Now you got to remind you, this was 2002, so it was like a boom of the industry. Everything was going great. You know, I was like, woo, all right. So I got in there. I said, if that fool can make $66,000, I'm gonna make $70,000. Because I looked at him. It was so funny. I remember his, real nice suit, cuffing there. I said, all you got to do is get on the phones and the AC. And y'all just make this kind of money, that's all you got to do? He's like, yeah. And I looked at, and this is a bunch of, like, knuckleheads out there. I'm like, this guy's a retard, this guy's a retard. Like, it's going to be easy, right? I'm done with this after a year. So, mind you, I just turned 23. My first month, I made $68,000. Okay? It's just like Wolf of Wall Street. The story's a lot like the same. And I was like, $68,000? Man, I didn't even know what to do with my money. Let me tell you something. My bank account was negative $300. My girlfriend was getting ready to kick me out. And I couldn't even deposit the money because they were going to put a 14 to 20-day hold on it because my account was negative. And they didn't even think the check was real. So I got my check, I went into the bank. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I'm so lost. I got this check and all this money. I go to the bank and say, well, sir, there's going to be a 20-day hold. I'm like, man, but I need that. This is my money. Like, I just want you to cash it. I'm going to lay on it. I'm going to roll around on it. I'm going to do something with it. Come on now. And the lady said, we can't do that. So I said, well, I'm going to have to figure something out. So I went to a check cash place. This is how stupid I am. Now, I go to a check cash place and they smiling, right? Like, they probably got 87 rows of teeth when they come in there and saw my check. And he said, man, that's nice. I said, I know, right? He said, that would be 18%. I was like, okay, that's still like 50 grand. I'll take it. That's how much money I paid. Now, how dumb am I? I could have just went to the bank that they wrote the check on, paid like $5 and got my cash. But I didn't know. See, you got to understand where I came from. I didn't know. That's okay. That's a life lesson. I learned a lot, and it makes for a great story. Now, the best part about it is they give me my money. Now I really feel like a drug dealer because I got all this cash in like a FedEx envelope, right? I'm walking down the tech cash place, you know? I'm going, man, I'm going to get beat up out here. You know, I'm going to have like 5 brick houses come after me. This one. So let me tell you something. Now, if you have ever had any money, when you go to the bank, they treat you really nice when you have it. They're not so nice to you when you don't have it. Right? When I was negative, they're like, sir, you know your account's negative. We're going to be charging you this overdraft fee. I'm like, dang, I'm trying here. You know, I bring out the money like, sir, hello. You know, they open up the door. There's like a whole other room to a bank when you have that kind of money. They pull you in this little room. They got water, little snacks. The girl's like, hi. She's all nice, like she's hitting on you. You know, you're like, wow, I'm looking great. You know, I'm all excited. This is great. You know, they're counting your money for you. It's all going through the counter. I'm like, man, I'm loving life. So I get these checks, I'm 23, and then next thing you know, I'm a manager, and I'm running $100 million worth of gross sales. $100 million. I don't have a college education. I grew up tipping cows, building fence, right? But you know what I have? I outwork every single one of you. Every one of you. You know why? Because you're lazy. I would just win. You're going to leave at 6, I'm staying until 10. You're going to get up at 7, I get up at 5, or 4. You're going to not go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym. You're going to be scared to make that phone call, I'm going to make a phone call for you. See, you have a lot of speakers coming in here, and then they're going to talk about all these things about being successful, and they're going to come up with this bullet point plan and what they need to do. I'm going to help you out, okay? This applies to anything. All you got to do is more than what's expected of you. And you will 100% crush anything that you do in life. And you don't have to be smart to do it. That's the best part. That's the reason why some of the people you see that are successful are dumb, and you're like, how did that fool get in that position? I will outwork you. Period in the story. I won't quit. I just keep going. Just keep working. Keep pushing. And that's the reason at 23-year-old, I was running $100 million. Because if I wanted to know it, I would study it. If I wanted to be better at it, I'd research it. I'd steal your soul. I'd take everything from you and then move and go to the next part. I surrounded myself with people that are way more successful than me, and I was quiet. I shut up and listened. I always respected people. I never came in like I knew everything, because if you know everything, you know nothing. And I just took what I needed, and I built. Because see, all while I was doing that, I was still taking care of my blind brother, financially, and my father, and my sister. My sister and my father weren't getting along. I was taking my sister to PTA meetings. I'm 23 years old, raising a high school kid. See, I never got the opportunity to enjoy, per se, life. Now, I used to be very angry about that. Now, I'm very thankful for it. So when I made that kind of money, again, I didn't know what to do with it. Let me take that back. You spend it. That's what I did with it. I didn't do anything too stupid. I bought like a Dodge Viper. That probably wasn't the smartest thing. That guy was a punk, man. I went up there, he pre-called me. He pre-called me when I walked on the lot. He said, you can't afford this. Let me take you over to this little pre-call and finance this. I said, what? I was there with my girlfriend and he looked like an idiot. She's all good looking, you know. She's like, come on, man. I was like, oh yeah? That was stupid. Don't do that. Just throwing it out there. But I did it. I checked that fool. Because he didn't get the commission. What I did is he ran his little mouth and tried to be a punk, so I just went over to this other and I said, hey, how about this guy over here who was brand new, didn't even know what he was doing, and I started doing it, and he got the commission for it. Don't do that to people, man. Treat everybody with equal respect, because you never know. You know, Sam Walton used to go to his stores that are Model A Ford and a blue tick cow wearing overalls. But think about that for a second. So I go through that experience, I get in the mortgage industry, boom, I go through it, man, it's great, making some money, doing my thing. I opened up my first business at 26, my first mortgage company, murdered it. 2008, the recession hits. Okay, so let me let me tell you how this works out. So imagine you're making all this money, you're loving life, you think it's never going to end, right? Because that's just how it works, you know. Never going to end, you're having a good time, you're taking care of people, because all of a sudden, I'm going to tell you, people come out of the woodworks and start making money. They all want some loans, they got some business idea, they broke. And when you're a nice person, giving person, you just be giving like this. People would just be taking the money. So I spent a lot of it doing that, really didn't know how to invest it, really didn't understand the concept of it, ironically considering I was in banking, which is kind of weird. I just knew how to sell. So I go through that experience, 2006 happens, 8 happens, boom, I walk in, I swear to you, like imagine if UCF shut down tomorrow, like it was just gone. Like you just showed up and there was not even anyone here. At first you'd be somewhat euphoric, like, ha, I don't have to go to class today, I'm done. That's kind of how you feel in mortgage because you just grinding like 100 hours a week. But then, you know, then all of a sudden it goes, wait a minute, I got all those bills I got to pay. I had $1 million worth of real estate, had a $95,000 car, and then my business is gone. I mean, it is gone. Like, you go to search, there's this, and your business is not there anymore. I mean, companies used to do fire drills. People would run outside, they close all the doors, and then fire everybody. Like, that's what happened. That's good, though, right? You got that kind of revision. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty good idea. That works. So I go from having all of this stuff to, next thing you know, I'm driving a 95 Camry with no hubcaps, like 5 different colors. Let me tell you, ladies, you come out of the woodworks when you got that 95 Toyota Camry versus that nice Mercedes. I'm just throwing it out there. No, you don't. Completely different dynamic of lifestyle. It shut down, and I took it on the chin. I really did. And it came fast because I was still really young. The business shut down, everything happened, and I was like, man, I learned a lot, but I was burned out. Licensing laws changed. My credit, lost my homes under foreclosure, owed the IRS $150,000. Fast forward, because we only got an hour, I ended up homeless. Now, I'm not like the typical veteran where they end up homeless because they got war PTSD and all these things like that. I mean, I just got myself handed to me. I mean, that's really what it come down to it. I lost my businesses. I didn't know what to do. I was riding this high. And because I never really learned anything outside that scope, I didn't think I could go anywhere else. And then, of course, now there's personal things that come to that. You know, my sister got into drugs. Her husband decapitated himself with fish and wire. My nephew was born with a disability that I had to take care of. So I was homeless with no money, taking care of all these people that I still had responsibilities for with the money I did have. And I dang sure wasn't going to let them down. That's not my personality. I'm not going to quit, right? So I continued taking care of these people the best I know how. So every bit of money I would make, I would do. So I'd go days without eating. I mean, Dunkin' Donuts saved my life. If I ever get an opportunity to meet with them, like we're going to build a relationship, I'm going to be like the best spokesperson for them ever. I lost my car. Some girl pulled out in front of me. Boom, hit it. I didn't have liability insurance, so I started walking everywhere, which is kind of cool because I'll end with that. Lost my car. Didn't have that. Ended up pretty much homeless. Didn't have anything. Packed up my stuff. Got to Tharaldson. Stayed there for a bit. Started selling personal training. You know, that's the only thing I really know how to do other than mortgage stuff. Had an opportunity to kind of work for a Google-based company up in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I hadn't had a car forever. So when I would go to do personal training, I'd have to run like 4 miles in the morning to get to my 4:30 session, do my sessions. Then I would just stay at the gym all day long, working out, training all because I wasn't going to go all the way back home. And then I would finish up at 9, 10 o'clock at night and then run 4 miles back. I was in phenomenal shape. You know, I looked great without a car. So they just thought I was this, PT guy. Like, yeah, that's right, I'm just running home because I'm a stud like that. You know, I didn't want to be like, I don't have a car. Girl's like, you want to go out? No, girl, I'm busy. I'm training right now. I'm trying to get focused. You gonna pick me up? So I was barely making any money. I was trying to get by. So this company came along and they said, hey, listen, you can sell online advertising, get on the computer, do whatever. So I get on the computer to sell it. And I said, man, you're really good. We'll give you a salary of $42,000. And mind you, I was so broke that $42,000 seemed like a ton of money. I went from making like that in a month, like it was easy, to now like, woohoo, $3,500 a month. I'll sell somebody's soul for that. Let's do it. So I moved to Charlotte. I get up there. It's my first day of my brand new job. And they have this like pyramid type building. And it's clear glass, and I'm all excited about it. I'm in there. Well, before I left, I applied for a car. Finally got myself situated, got a car. I put the last $500 I had down on it. I showed up my first day at work. I'm ready to go. New chance on life. I get in there. I'm on my first day on the job. They're talking about calling, doing everything, you know. And I'm like, dude, I cut my teeth on cold calling. I cold call all y'all right now. I'll close you on something. I don't care. Like, that's just what I was taught to do. I'm not scared of it. You know, I'm 300 dials a day. What's up? Boom. Somebody buying something. You know, it's just numbers game. So I get up there. I'm like #1 sales guy, like within the first week. Crush it. So the car company calls me and say, hey, Mr. Johnson. And I was like, well, hello, sir. And I said, hey, listen, we just wanted to go ahead and finish up the funding of your car. We're going to do. We just want to confirm your job. I was like, oh, yeah, I started a new job. I was like, you know, no, I was in the mortgage industry, so I understand the concept. Sales is sales, same line of work. You're good to go. No. They said, oh, but you're in a different line of work. I said, no, I'm still selling. I started selling this lady. Like, it's on now, right? Like, what's up? No, overcoming the objections. What's up? No, no, no. No, I'm going to wear her down. She said, well, we can't fund the loan. I said, well, listen, I'm at my new job right now. She said, oh, that's cool. We're sending somebody up there to get a car now. So I'm sitting there at my job going, oh, y'all coming to get it now? Now, there's a small part of me that thought, I can make a run for it. They're never going to get that car. I'm not going to lie. Now, I live like 6 miles away from my new job. I had no friends. I didn't know anyone. This is in Charlotte. I didn't know anybody. So I was like, oh, man, okay. But I just smiled, right? Because at this point in my life, after going through all that, I was like, rock and roll, bring it. Let's get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm going to go make some more calls and sell some more stuff and just get a new car. That's how I always think with everything now. You know, what's up? Hit me again. We'll do it again. I'll just keep fighting. I'll never quit. Keep going again. So the guys show up and take my car. And I had all my stuff in my bag. So I put my stuff. So at the end of the day, so what I did was I started staying later than everyone else. Right? Because I waited till everybody left. It was like somebody that stayed till 8 o'clock. And I was like, this guy's got to go home. Man, come on. Get a girlfriend. So, you know, I almost like telemarketed a girlfriend just to find one that's closer to get him, come get him and get him out of the office. So I had to walk back and forth 6 miles. So I walked 6 miles after work with my bag, all my stuff that day. Now, that's kind of a depressing day. I'm not going to lie. Right? You finally get your job. You finally get security. You get your car. You're good. Life is good. You're trying to take care of your nephew, your sister. You're trying to do all this stuff. You know, you're trying to do the right thing. Okay? And then they take your car, man. I mean, that's not cool. But I understand. So I walked 6 miles from the office to the house in the morning. Boom, same thing back and forth. And I still sold, outsold, #1, sell. I mean, it ain't like I had anything else to do. I just sit at the office all day long. I had to get there early in the morning because I didn't want to be embarrassed. You understand, like, my resume looked awesome. You know, and my experience and everything and things I've accomplished, my awards looked amazing. So people perceived me as that. And I didn't want to let that image down or I might lose my position. Then I realized something that's you're going to learn later. It's probably not the best advice right now. But see, you guys are all in the system. Right? I'm about to get deep. Hold on. You're in the system. See, the system tells you what you should wear, how you should look, what is good, what is bad, what you should make, what you should not make, how you control everything in life. See, marketing's at you. Bam, 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 bam. Love is something created to sell more product. Okay? And I started thinking to myself, I want to be an entrepreneur. Wait a minute, I've always been an entrepreneur. Why am I always selling for someone else? Why am I always allowing other people to control my destiny and my fate? I hit a house. I died 3 times. I'm a United States Marine. I've been through every single obstacle possible. Nothing will stop me. So I told the business, I'm done. I'm going to go back to the mortgage industry again, and I'm going to rebuild myself. Now, mind you, the industry had changed in 2008. There was licensing laws. You couldn't get a license if your credit wasn't great. You had to go through. And North Carolina Commissioner of Banks, they are strict, man. So I had all these collections, these foreclosures, all this stuff. And it was the only business I knew how to. So I go back, and I'm taking care of my nephew. I got like 15 minutes left, I think. Taking care of my nephew, raising my nephew, trying to do all of this. I had to go in front of the North Carolina Commissioner of Banks, ask them to give me a license. They said, great, but you got to pay all your collections. I got no money. So every bit of money I made, I had to pay those collections. Got to the point where I didn't eat. I go to Dunkin' Donuts, and I use all their free Wi-Fi. Used a little wake-up wraps for like $1, probably like some of y'all are doing in college. But so I went through that experience, and we got the position, first day at the job, I'm ready to go, I'm rocking and rolling. The guy says, hey, we'll take you before your license get in there. I sell $30,000 the first month. What's up? Company folds. 30 days later, I lose all my money. Mother. Right? That's okay. I'll do it again. So I take another position as a branch manager. And this was like 2 hours bus ride. I had to take a bus because I couldn't walk that far. So I take the bus. Got to get there super early. I get in there. I'm the branch manager. I get a little salary, like $2,500. I'm like, woo. All right. You know, I mean, it's not like my expenses are a lot now. I'm pretty much homeless. So I go in there, start it up. Boom. What's up? Huh? $25,000 check. First month. I'm sitting in the office. He's getting ready to cut the checks. The police officer comes in. I said, oh. Serves some papers. Said, oh, sir, you're filing for bankruptcy. We're going to have to shut your business down. Takes my money. Come on. Now, at any point in time in that, I could have quit. I could have, right? Crawled in the hole, went back into the system, made my $30,000, $45,000 a year, been a correction officer, been a cop, been a firefighter, do the typical military thing, go work on the service thing. I could have done that. At any point in time, I could have done that. And I said, no, 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 no. So I kept going. Finally, I get into a position, get everything squared away. I made $300,000 the first year. Work myself back up, get back to making $1 million a year. Say I'm tired of working for the man. Open up my own company. Develop my mortgage company that only works with military. Found a niche. Develop a mission statement for my company because you have to have a why. It's about giving back to those who have sacrificed so much, good, bad, or indifferent. It's also showing the veteran community to stop whining and complaining about how everyone owes you something and understand that your responsibility as a veteran continues even after your service is completed to take care of the civilian population. That is the point of a veteran. Not to blame the system for not giving them enough. Every time you get an obstacle, open arm and hug it and say, thank you. Because had I not went through those experiences, I would not be able to stand up here today. I would not be able to run the companies and employ the people that I do. And I dang sure wouldn't be able to give back to all the veterans that are in need had I not went through those experiences. Does that make sense? So I think that wraps me up for time.